Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farm. Now, here we are up one of the top paddocks here at Fat Cow Farm, and this just shows you what's going on here. Now, we have got millions and millions and millions of blackberries. Now, when we first arrived here at Fat Cow Farm, this is what all our pastures were like, and full on. Now, we've gone through 100 different ways of trying to eradicate the blackberry canes, and so we needed to make things a little bit easier for ourselves. And so what we've done is we've gone out and bought ourselves a mulcher, and we're doing some tests on mulching these blackberries. And I want to show you what's happened to the grass underneath these canes once that mulch is, or the blackberry mulch has been decomposed and everything else. We've got a lot of growth coming through. But in saying that, we've also got a lot of the new shoots of blackberries coming up. And that's okay, because now that we can manage them and actually get into the main root ball source. So there's a couple of things I need to go through with you. Firstly is looking at the grass potential coming through after all this mulch breaking down and putting carbon back into the soil. And secondly, giving us the opportunity to have a look at where all the root balls for these blackberries are. So there's a few things. Firstly, we needed to basically get to that root ball. And so we've spoken to our mates down at FD Ryan, and we've had a custom broad fork made specially for the blackberry balls. And I'll show you how that works. So let me get a few things squared away. I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are. We've got a spot that we've already gone through and mulched up, and you can see the mulcher itself, which is all the mulch. It's basically is all the brown that's in front of me here. Now, what we're finding is that we've got areas like this where grass is starting to come up. Now, we haven't let the cows basically in here, and because there's just no point. There is just no point. You've got little pockets of grass everywhere, but you've got so many brambles. And so basically what we're looking at now is that we've got a defined line running through of basically what we've been dealing with and what we've got now. You know, so this is probably, I'm just trying to think now, this is probably about 2 weeks old, week and a half, something like that. And already, with all that rain that we've had over the last couple of weeks, the growth is full on, and now look at this, the sun's shining and we're ready to rock and roll. Now, ideally, I would think that you'd really want to do this over the winter months, because there are spots, and if you look, you know, we've got exposed dirt. Now, I want to show you what the exposed dirt is, because what we're going to have to do there is put a ground cover on. So what we'll do is we'll have a chat to our friends at Eden Seeds, and we'll find some pasture grass, or we'll find just a green cover or something of the sort like that, and at least that way, coming into the summer months, that the soils are protected, because there's so much carbon in here now. I'm really looking forward to the idea of building up this topsoil, especially in these back paddocks, and then really looking at managing these blackberries. Now, I want to show you what we've been doing as a part of the management process for our blackberries, and I'll show you the broad fork, because the way that this is going to work is that it's going to be time consuming, but in turn the blackberries will basically be eliminated. Now, if you go through the process of spraying and a few other bits and pieces like that, you're not getting to the actual root ball. You will have regrowth, and what they tell me is that it takes around about a four spray cycle. So yes, in the interim, you know, I'm going down that line, I really want to try and avoid it. I think that what might have to happen is that we'll go back to our old school thought of eradicating the blackberry root ball as a whole, and hence this is why we've looked at a custom broad fork from FD Ryan, and then we can put our ground cover in and away we go. So let's go find that broad fork I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, now, this little section here, I've just run over with the broad fork. Now, this is it here. Now, this is like a standard broad fork, but what we found is that with the standard one, the tines were too far apart, and we couldn't get, a lot of the root balls were just going through those twines. So we asked them, the boys at FD Ryan, to bring these a little bit closer. And so what we're finding is that it's actually lifting under that root ball. Now, and I'll quickly just, we've got some regrowth coming through here. So, this is what's going on. There's a root ball there. You know. So this is what we've been dealing with, and because the twines are so close together, we're able to break up that soil as we go. Look at that, like another one. It just cracks me up. Now, for everyone out there who knows or who's been inundated with blackberries, it is just the worst of the worst. Because you look at you know, their root ball like that. I mean, it's just full on. You cut the tops off, another one starts shooting next to it. You know, so it's just amazing. And what I have found is that where we had the larger blackberry canes, like you can see behind me, they're pretty full on. Underneath, it'll just be dead, you know, basically dead soil. So we've got to protect that soil and put a ground cover in. But it's where the blackberries themselves, around the perimeter, and the fruit's dropped and it's seeded, you know, so that's where we're getting a lot of our growth. And it's just, you know, look, another one. More root balls. So it's going to take quite a bit of time to get all this through. And then basically, you know, the way that I sort of figure it is that, you know, if I spend an hour and a half a day, I might get a couple of, maybe 25 square meters done a day. You know, it might only take me a year, so to speak, but we can manage it as we go through. Now, a couple of the benefits being is that because these guys are so new, there's no prickles. And what I am noticing is that Marley and Luna have been coming through and taking off these tips. So it's only when the blackberries get, it must be 6 months or a year old, they start getting the prickles on it. But all on these new shoots, hey, there's nothing. Like, you can do it with your bare hands. And the camels are loving it. So they're helping. They're like, just like big goats. So what might also have to happen here is that if this gets beyond, if this sort of takes over, we'll have to run the flail back through. But also what we may have to do is start crop grazing the goats up here. And they can just constantly hammer until we're ready to start removing those root balls. So, mate, we've got a big job ahead of us. It's just full on, but we're getting there. And I just thought we'd, you know, give you an opportunity to see what we're dealing with here at Fat Cow Farm. So, all about trying to get rid of your blackberries. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.